As you return to the scene, to the camp, basically, you arrive, Astrea. I mean, maybe just in time to maybe see Karen sort of sit down. Before you see again, silhouetted against the firelight. Somebody sort of climb up on maybe sort of a crate or something along those lines. Diminutive stature, a sort of fairly large goblet or sort of pint in hand, sort of raising, and sort of at some point sort of yells out for attention. This is Orderic, right? Sort of yells out. Nobody's listening because his voice is barely above the music. Turns to Karen, who just seated, who gets up. Again, you have this crate, halfling, minotaur, right? And basically, she grabs. You're not exactly sure what, but probably basically starts banging. Takes up maybe a large ladle and sort of bangs on an empty sort of cooking pot or whatnot, and sort of the music dies down. And Orderic sort of again sort of pulls out sort of and says, "Crew of the Chimera. If we are here today, together, here in this abundance of food, this merriment, we have many to thank. First, of course, our humble hosts, the Blood Lilies, who have graciously brought us a level of comfort that we have not had in some time. Of course, we have to thank our captain and the fortune that brought us to her under her wing and her command. Is she somewhere?" And sort of that's when Karen sort of not that way. Realizing that as you were walking up, this was very much an ambush. Astrea. And you have. She goes to the captain, Astrea, who took us in, us folk from, well, let's put it. We were at each other's throats and cannon's end. Before joining the Chimera, pretty much everybody had shot at everybody else. And yet somehow we made it here. So for that, you have our thanks. But beyond the present and possible future, I would like to raise a glass and a thought and a prayer, or whatever you might address now, to those who are not here. To those who are missed, those who are missing, and those who are lost. Whether Carolyn, whether Assyrian, Drake, or stranger, may the seas be clement to you all. May you find rest in the ether. May your souls be joined to your chosen afterlife. Do not haunt us for what we might done to you. If you are foe, if you are friend, do not haunt us in jealousy of the merriment that we will experience. Yes, well, look, where I come from, it works better, right? It doesn't work in common. Look, raise a glass, moment of silence, do whatever you wish. Remember you all, you are alive. And that is the best way to remember the dead. And he raises his glass and just chugs right through it. Reactions?
I think there's a moment in that speech where Pax is taking it in. Pax has participated in the eating contest of Gizmo, but after that he's mostly been used to also not really be invited for drinks or anything in general, and would have enjoyed the quiet akin to Hazel. Mm-hmm. And as Orderic speaks, he does join the groups to just listen. And you see a thoughtful frown, as in his mind he seems to immediately, almost out of a dutiful reflex, think of Captain Grusha. But then his eyes would slowly lower towards Charon's pouch while she's standing up there, and an actual pained frown forms, and his broad and proud stature at that point slinks a little bit as you just see him stare down into a cup of water he hasn't touched.
Let's take this opportunity. Well, first let's see. Is there any other reactions from the other three? Before going back? You're muted, my love.
Astrea would have grabbed a glass or even a bottle from somewhere and just joined in on the chair because she's actually empty-handed. And then
I think Almond is the one to sort of, as you're looking around, Almond is there with a pint or something along, just going to sort of a one hand pint into yours and sort of tap on the shoulder.
Elbow.
Yeah, okay, elbow actually. Yeah. Farron?
Hearing on, same cup that he's been holding since the earlier conversation, which he hasn't refilled, but isn't necessarily letting anyone know that. Mm-hmm. And as he's cheering, he's taking a look around, seeing how the rest of the camp, how the locals are taking this spontaneous ambush of praise for the new captain.
No, they're joining in, especially on they're pirates, they're druids. They know the cycle of life and death. They're very aware of the violence on the open seas, and so you're pretty sure that no one here has not had the opportunity or the misfortune to mourn a loved one lost on the seas.
I think Farron was already relaxing ever so slightly after the earlier conversation, because essentially she wasn't pretending to be happy. She wasn't hiding the fact that she was guarded, the fact that she was kind of like on the look for something. And paradoxically, that was just the level of honesty that he needed, that he was looking for, to feel comfortable that that nobody was trying to screw him over. And now that I think is kind of like giving him the rest of what he needed to truly relax in this moment.
Okay. Gizmo, any quick reaction to the shout out and to the toast?
I think at first he toasts I would imagine to Coston until the speech comes to the point where where he basically mentions the departed and people that they should be honored and yada yada yada, and then he thinks about Skerrick and he definitely thinks, I hope that fucker still is just suffering a lot.
There's an angry chunk of like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Coming back to you, Pax. So maybe that moment of melancholy. I'll give you the choice. Do you go towards someone, or does somebody put their hand on your shoulder?
I don't think Pax has ever been one to truly just go to someone when something heavy was on his mind. He mostly had people that would pay attention to him, even if they were few. Otherwise, it would be a sign of weakness and to be bottled down and not shown. So he wouldn't spontaneously go to someone in this case.
As the player, is there anybody you would like to go up and place a hand on Pax's shoulder?
As a player, I'm very open to whomever to be paying attention to Pax at that moment, quite frankly.
Look,
he's in the middle of the crew, so he's not hidden aside. He didn't take a moment. He got ambushed by these feelings quite clearly for the viewer's perspective. So he's very much in his own thought right now.
Right, okay.
So any player or NPC that
Actually,
would be paying attention to him is welcome.
I think Aeson comes up to you. And as he sort of sits down, there's a moment where he sort of sits down next to you. There's a moment where, again, he's sitting, you can see that he's waiting for you to sort of notice that he's there, right? Which maybe takes a moment or two.
It takes longer than it should. But Pax does immediately straighten up as soon as he notices a presence.
Look, Pax, it's been the fact that I'm here now has a lot to do with the fact that we're no longer on the Triumph. And I don't know how much involvement the Captain Astrea had in those the options that you gave me. But that's just thanks for that, first of all. Second, I keep replaying that battle in my mind. I've had a lot of time to think about it. As to what happened, how it happened. But there's... When I burst into the cabin, Deveros had sort of set me up. Captain wasn't on the bridge. We didn't know what to do. The fires were getting everywhere. The ether was about to you know that none of us would have left the ship without the direct captain's orders, right? And that's pretty much what I was doing. When I opened the door, what had happened between the two of you? I mean, why was she pointing a gun at you?
in that moment, Pax, who has been listening this whole time, he stiffens, his nostrils flaring and his membrane stiffening and coming loose from his neck a little bit, but not in aggression towards Isin. It's a clear shock reaction, where even to the point that his body goes fully still, almost lizard-like, for a good 4 or 5 solid seconds.
And I think he misinterprets, right? Is that you there's that shift and there's that old fear of the beast, right? Is that all of a sudden there's a you act lizard quick, and that movement is not one of and for anybody else it might be interpreted differently, but he's expecting violence from you. He's learned to expect violence from you, and so he immediately goes, "Oh, I didn't mean. I mean, it's just as I came in, I keep thinking about it, right? Is that at first I thought, oh, it's because I interrupted. I burst in. She thought I was an attacker, maybe, but it's. I see it in my mind just before everything went to everything went to hell. She wasn't pointing it at me. It wasn't at the door. You were there in front of me, and I remember she was looking down the sights, and then she looked at me as I burst in, and her eyes moved, and so I don't look. To be fully honest, and I talked about this to Devros and to some of the others while we were, and Devros was kind of... Look, I mentioned that in those last moments that I saw what I saw, or I thought that I saw. That you were being... And so, when Devros learned that, he used that. He told us that that was the proof that you shouldn't be trusted. That you had gone to the other side, that you had betrayed us. Look. It's... I don't want to excuse Devros. The guy was an ambitious bastard, but like most of the people who were down in the decks, we all had our gang tag. We all had our history. But if I hadn't told him what I saw, maybe those would be part of our crew now and not wolf food.
You see Pax, having been silent throughout the entire rant, there is a hint of pain that can easily be missed the moment Aesin really recoils. And Pax exhales deeply again, his shoulders slumping down, making him look like the skinniness of a lizardman coming through really, really much in this moment. And he would just get up, very slowly raise an arm and rest it on Aesin's shoulder. And there would be nothing predatory in Pax's eyes.
I don't think he even notices it before. I don't think he's so much into his own panicky explanation as to why this revelation, right? He's sort of gesticulating, he's sort of lost his composure, and so it's when you have the hand that she puts on the shoulder, he just notices it for the first time, and maybe there's that first moment of going, oh my god, that fear of, oh my god, I've got a predator on, I've got a poisonous snake or a spider or whatever on. And at first it's, and then he sort of relaxes, seeing that there's no immediate danger.
And there's very much through the panic, the motion remains in one flow. Pax squeezes the shoulder encouragingly in that moment. And with a breaking voice, almost hushed, goes, I wasn't useful to her, but I'm glad you're alive. And his hand just slowly slinks off his shoulder. Pax almost giving
wasn't useful.
A smile that clearly ain't a smile. When tools get dull, they get replaced.
The fuck? Gods know that wasn't a dull blade that
The captain must have thought otherwise. And there is no doubt about the struggle that Pax is undergoing to just get those words out with as much composure as he can. He's still in those boots as Grasha's first mate.
That's fucked up.
We'll find out when we find her.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get an explanation about this. Right, so I knew she was vicious, but I didn't think she would execute her first mate in the middle of a battle. Losing one at that.
As he says that, almost in that mental instability and the shock he's in, when he voices that about Grasha out loud, there is a brief moment where his frills spike up, and there is that...
How dare you talk ill of the captain?
Yeah, and he stops halfway his hiss. His face again having that sharp look, like a cat who just hissed at a human and doesn't know why. Mm-hmm. And the frills slowly just go back down, and he raises his hand to take a sip, only then just realized that he crushed whatever cup he had in his hand. Looking down, frowns, goes...
I'll get you another one. And sort of sits up, stands up and sort of walks away towards the the large barrels, where you see the friendly face of Tiberius, sort of. I mean, he doesn't serve drinks. He just grabs the pint, dips it into the bucket, pulls out and sort of pushes into the hand of the next sailor.
I think Pax will stand there looking at his hand for a while, and then after Isin, and he looks so out of his element in that moment. He comes to a realization that he has no idea how to be, or who to even be, now that the threat of death isn't looming over them. And I think he's just going to sit down.
Okay. And speaking of the looming death, Gizmo.
Why? What did I do to you?
I don't know. What are you up to? I think we find again sort of Gizmo. The competition is ended, right?
I hope so. unless Pax is still there trying to.
No. So let's say I'll situate this. This is after the sort of the morning toast, right? As in,
Okay.
is there anyone you would like to invite into your scene?
So, you know what, last time we were talking about making more interactions between Gizmo and Farron. So since there's been the toast, there's been lots of things said, I think it's a good chance to talk with Astrea.
Okay.
I'm kidding, no, I'll go for Farron.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I think normally Gizmo would approach you to talk, but he's quite heavy on his feet right now, quite literally. So he tries to just maybe.
I think
I won.
you sure did, buddy. How's the... God, you look like you swallowed a planet. You okay?
Yes, I'm totally. I'm good.
Right.
You
Um,
know, if you throw that back up, you lose, right?
I don't think kobolds are even able physically to throw up. I don't think they're made that way.
Really?
I am so gonna research that after the end of the episode.
Weird Googles on our history. Can kobolds throw up?
No, because I think Farron pauses because I think he was still looking for Pax at this point, and then, just okay. Looking down at you. Just how bad do you look, Gizmo?
It's not like the comic book character kind of bad, but you can clearly see that like the Gizmo's belly is way more bellier than normal.
Listen, I don't know how kindly they'll take to any of us throwing up in their crops, so if you have to, just let me know and we'll find a quiet spot.
It's alright, it's fine, I can take it. As long as I don't drink too much, we're good.
Yeah, how much have you been drinking? Because, I mean, to be frank, I'm impressed. You've been keeping up.
How much can I realistically have drunk this tonight? Like with all the food and stuff.
Well, considering that was a nat 20, you tell me.
You know what? Gizmo is like,
Just maybe
a couple bottles, not more than that. And then far away in the distance, like in the corner, you can see two Goliath-sized bottles of wine that are empty, basically.
I can imagine the anatomy of kobolds being... Kobolds are very much... they are very much creatures that can gorge themselves, right? As in, they have a
Right.
body that is able to extend in places, sort of in manners of when there's abundant food, and then go, so yes, you are seeing a very sort of round. We've all seen what a fat dragon looks like.
Right.
Right? What's the name of the cutie?
Ember Show?
Yeah, there we go. I can imagine that Gizmo, you are rotund.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough. And but just to give maybe Farron a hook. Let's say that Gizmo then he chuckles a bit. He tries to, maintain composure at some point, and then he goes a little bit more serious, thinking about the toast and thinking about what was said during the toast. He's like,
So, who did you toast to?
You know, there aren't that many at this point. I wasn't on the ship for so long. To be fair, they basically grabbed me to replace the last poor sod who was stuck in the galleys, and I managed to make my way out when I landed on the beach. Do you know, I'm not actually sure I spent more than 10 minutes of conversation with anyone but the captain and the first mate when they first took me on board. You lot have definitely been chattier. How about you?
Surely not scary.
Clearly.
But I miss the captain. He was a good man. Well, a good.
Wait, was he Warforged, or am I just misremembering?
Who?
The predestination captain, the original one, not.
No, he was human.
He was human.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I thought. Okay,
He was a great man. At least he was nice to Gizmo when I was brought here.
So what's the plan for Gizmo down the line? Do you stick around on a ship? Do you try and go back? Do you have people that you're looking for?
I would very much like to go back. I don't know how yet.
Well, there's gonna be someone in this, in this place who has an idea.
Do you have a name? Or are you just...
No,
Say.
I'm guessing. It's that the people are sending, the flotsam and jetsam of many a world through portals and ships and God knows what else. So I'm pretty sure that someone somewhere has figured out what you're looking for. Finding them now, and
Yeah, the only thing that I figured so far is that it is very easy to get here. Problem is to go the other way around.
and I point towards what I know to be kind of like one of the bigger portals, kind of like Flamewood. I mean, we know for a fact there's a number of places where that exact thing is possible.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not really... The thing you do with the, explosions and the everything, is that magic? Or is that just, I don't know, something you do?
Oh yeah, no, it's very much magic. Look,
I just snap my fingers and I have like a rope in my hands.
Huh. Who talked to you? And if you've had this conversation, I'm very sorry, but I think I'm too drunk to remember.
Gizmo kind of learned from different people here and there. One thing from one person and another thing from another. You know, you want to learn from the best if you want to build something cool.
Yeah.
So not everyone can build everything.
So is that what you're looking for now? Someone to learn from?
If they can
Or are
teach
you
me
just-
how to, well, either get back or get very rich here, yes.
I mean, there's quite a few people on these islands who think they know how to get very rich. Most of them just don't tend to stay alive very long to get there.
I mean, Gizmo will try to outlive them. In that case.
You're a gambling man, Gizmo.
Aren't we both?
I suppose. Though, way things have been going, been trying to rethink my strategies a little. Figure out how to hedge my bets.
Mr. D, actually, it might be a question for Farron as well. Am I or would I be able to perceive or to see that the aura around Farron and his magic kind of changed since the swap of the patron? Would there be any
I'm
kind
going
of
to say-
sign I could?
So, I'm going to say no. I have my reasons. I'm not going to elaborate them here.
Fair enough. Okay.
But no, you've
Okay.
not seen. Now, you've seen an evolution in power, right? But you would not have. But actually, I don't know. You've got no basis, right? You don't know how he was before. You've only seen him in a handful. You've only seen him do magic for a handful of days.
Yeah.
To be honest, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, fair enough. I'll drop that. Then I'll just go like, where, I think I already asked you this, but you know you're not very good at answering questions, Farron. Where did you learn your shiny thingy with the sword?
It's not exactly that I learned it. Talking to Pax about learning stuff with swords. This and that rapier of glass kind of like appears in Farron's hand. This is more like instinct, I suppose. It's like how you know how to move your legs to walk. You don't really think about it, or you don't really think about how you breathe in or you breathe out before.
So, did you always have it?
That's the thing. I didn't. Like, I suppose a few years ago I started noticing that I had a knack with numbers and with making people believe things about how much something could be worth. That came in handy a few times. But nothing much beyond that, no. Actually, the first time I noticed I could do that, I accidentally gutted someone and they tried to kill me on the beach after the battle.
They're part of the crew now.
Yeah. Other shit, part of the crew. No, I'm not really sure about this. Because I don't really have to think about it much, and I start going through, I guess not any of the exercises that Pax tried to drill into me. I just start dancing, essentially, with a weapon in hand. This feels right in a way that I don't really have to think about a lot. Now I start going through drills, kind of like first guard, second guard, trying to align the blade in such a way that people can't really tell where the point is, and kind of like to make it easier to stab with, trying to kind of like consciously watch my footwork. This is work. And then I just cast a small bolt of eldritch energy into the ground. That I can't even begin to explain you.
Well, as soon as Gizmo sees the explosion, the first reaction is his eyes go wide. They are sparkling. He's like, "Whoa!"
Can you just choose the shape of the thing you're taking? Like, does it have to be a sword, or can it be like a gun?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I never really tried it, but I think I have to be familiar with the shape. Like it has to make sense to me, if you will. And maybe, and I show you the broken guard that I have, that is kind of like, that forms the base of the weapon that I'm using.
Mm-hmm. The pact was that at some point Gizmo was gonna try to repair that.
Huh.
Yep.
See, this is the second time this happened. Like the first time I picked up a piece of junk like that, I threw it away. But now, I don't know. Maybe I suppose, maybe whatever I have sort of like completes the rest of the blade, in a way. Or maybe I'm just making this up as I go because I have really no idea of what's going on.
Fair enough. I don't think any of us knows what's going on right now. We're just trying to survive.
See, the thing is, in a way, I don't think that's much different than almost everyone is living. Like, we don't really know what's going on in most of anywhere. A lot of different people are doing a lot of different things at the same time, and sometimes it explodes in our faces and a ship gets sunk, and sometimes we get ahead. I figure a smart way to go about it is to try and make it out alive no matter what.
Yeah, Gizmo likes it more when it's the enemy's ship just exploding. Usually not nice if you're on the ship.
So what, you're gonna try and make more ships explode?
Possibly not ours, but yes.
Yeah, I think we'd all appreciate it if you held back from that one. Especially Markov.
Marco and I are buddies. We understand each other.
Uh-huh. And
We will make the Chimera the fastest ship alive.
Has he been teaching you? Or have you been teaching him? Gods.
How would I define that kind of relationship? Like, am I like? Do I? Are you telling me, do I get to decide how the dynamic is between the two, or is it just Gizmo point of view?
Let's go for Gizmo's point of view. I'm interested.
Okay, Gizmo's point of view is that, he's kind of like not really right in the head, but he's got very interesting ideas and kind of his way of seeing technology is a little bit old school, but it's very fascinating because he's got this very raw way of putting things together, and so I can tell him how to make them better based on his ideas, which is useful to him. I'm teaching him a lot of stuff.
To Gizmo, he's the most knowledgeable one in the couple, obviously.
I mean, you're not wrong, right? As Markov's knowledge of tinkering has come from basically him seeing, these two planks go together because I saw them to put together on another ship. He knows he's somebody who needs plans to build. You, for some reason, those plans come in as a flash of genius. And I'm not just naming that because you're an artificer and you have that particular... Well, no, you don't have that.
It was in the previous version.
Yeah.
I think.
It should come later, I think. But I think it's you. You have an understanding of why things are put together in that way. He just knows that they go together.
Okay. I get it.
And we
So
did
yeah,
we lose
basically
Farron?
we.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Farron?
Yeah, I think the camera feed just.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
I'm alone. I'm alone here, but I can. Yep.
Yeah, we've lost you. We lost your camera, but as long as you are there in spirit, knock 3 times.
But yeah,
Hello?
basically
Yeah, we hear you.
we kind of complete each other. You know, we just build things together. We will make it a very good ship until we have a bigger one.
Okay, no, I think.
I think that there is there's a measure of screaming internally happening at the thought of Markov and Gizmo sort of like learning of each other, but oddly enough, also kind of like I think a sense of pride almost in seeing kind of like the crew and its relationships take shape in that moment for Farron. Huh. Well, you're going to be the terrors of the seas for sure. You keep going that way. And I mean that as a compliment.
Oh, thank you. I already started working on that actually. Do you want to see?
And Gizmo gets very excited. And do we have a delay with Andreas or?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Uh-huh, sure.
Okay. There we go. And
Are you-
You can do that thing with your sword, but I made this.
And I'll put it in. I think I'll put the gun in the chat. But he shows you his actual cannon, like a portable cannon. It's like basically a can that has the, let's say, it looks like the where the bullets go. It's got 3 barrels that rotate, and in his other hand he's got these they would look like ping pong balls to you in the modern world, but basically they are just small balls that have tiny angry faces scribbled on them.
Gizmo, League of Legend confirm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh god.
Okay. I think between do you show him? Do you show him how it works or?
Yeah, very much. I'll try to get one of the bottles. Like if there's an empty bottle somewhere, I'll try to shoot at it.
I think as you sort of kind of set it up, I think there's 1, maybe 2 shots fired as you're trying to maybe calibrate the distance and whatnot. To which point, I think that as you're sort of setting up, we see a very tall, lanky shadow just appear behind the 2 of you as Hazel is there. Very much one hand behind her back, the other on the pommel of her saber, and she goes, "Gentlemen."
Can I roll a sleight of hand to give the gun to?
Sure. Sure.
God.
Sleight of hand of 7.
Gizmo coming here with the hold my beer and watch
Very much so.
hold my beer and watch this.
But it's very much Gizmo sort of and basically you were looking up at her and you were going with a 7. You were basically going ha. Right? It is not absolute. There's no subtlety. There's no way of hiding. As Hazel, first mate Hazel, basically looks down on you like an angry mother and goes, "Gentlemen, could we abstain from mixing alcohol and firearms?
I think that might be wise, wouldn't it, Gizmo?
How much for Astrea to notice the phone?
Make me a perception check. An 11. I'm very tempted to say that while she's beating down on Farron and Gizmo, she goes, please, put those away, and if you do wish for a firing range, one can be arranged tomorrow after you've rested. And as she turns, I think you see Astrea right there behind. Should you wish it.
Yeah, that's gonna be it. Just that, and
yeah, just the eyebrow that goes up. I'm not angry.
Could I try and sleight of hand the contraption away from Gizmo?
No, it is
Just
in your
out of
hands.
curiosity.
he literally pushed it in your
good.
hands. So.
Good.
With a sleight of hand
Just-
of 7, he just basically just pushed it into your hands. It's a fairly heavy contraption, by the way, which, as soon as you're holding it, it sprouts a What's this? And Gizmo and Nader, please.
Yeah.
I want you, in preparation for the detailed description of this, I want you to start watching on YouTube BattleBots, because this is what it is, right?
Okay.
This is a BattleBot. It just so happens that it's got a cannon on top, or 2, or 3 in this case. What would it be its mode of transportation? Is it legs? Is it wheels? Is it?
Oh, that's a good question. So I thought about it when I was creating it,
Uh-huh.
and I mean legs would be funny because it's very Borderlands,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I like the wheels idea more because it recalls the Chimera kind of thing. So I think it's a nice.
I mean, it could be multiple things, right? But definitely this thing in your hands, Farron, sort of starts shaking, maybe because it seems to be moving around. There are moving parts, and so its center of gravity seems to shift. And as it falls, it just goes and just moves back right between Gizmo's legs, as somehow this thing seems to understand Gizmo. I mean, that Gizmo not is endangered, but Gizmo is sort of hiding. Was going, so that shrinking to that kobold being scolded, and it, instead of your tail between your legs, you have this machinery that just goes right there, and then. You know what? What's the roll on temporary hit points that this thing gives? Because I think the cannon goes off basically. The protector.
Wow. What's the? Let me see.
It's the damage, but temporary hit points, I think.
Yeah. Spells, Eldritch Cannon, voila. So it is. Oh no, this is the flamethrower. We don't need it now. So it emits a burst of positive energy, grants itself and each creature of your choice within 10 feet. Number of temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus 4.
Okay, yeah. So roll a d8. Roll a d8 plus 4.
Is there a way to roll it directly from here, or? I don't think
Normally
so.
there should be.
Yeah, you can roll.
Let me see, protector. Oh, maybe. So it rolled 3 dice altogether. It's the damage. Okay, because that's the T8 plus. Wow.
So yeah, all of you within 10 feet, which I'm pretty sure it's everybody, you gain 9 temporary hit points. As this thing goes off, and all of a sudden you feel, I guess it would be maybe you
imagine-
find yourself a bit more clear-headed, right? As in, all of a sudden somebody's injected caffeine in your veins, right? And you're going, whoa, okay, right, this.
I imagine the protector mode being like some small wooden lifesavers that they just come and hug you, basically.
Is this contraption made out of mostly wood or mostly metal?
I think it's actually the 90% of it is wood, and then just the part that fires is actually metal.
Okay. So I think there's a moment where as this thing fires out, Hazel is very much, and she's tightened her grip around the sword, but she's caught in this sort of wave as well, and she'll go, huh. Well, a clever little thing, isn't he? And so it has to look
Gizmo.
and sort of turns and sort of has a nod towards Astrea and sort of walks off with the clinking, with the clopping. I think the touch is, we know because she's a tiefling that those are hooves, but they sound like high heels.
Oh, okay.
Andreas, are you okay?
We didn't have the sound. We just got the sentiment.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm hitting. I'm not hitting Farron right here. I'm hitting right through to Andreas. Sorry, buddy. Don't worry. Remember, safe word is this.
You're also muted, my friend.
I think it's for the better. So, Astrea, you were saying.
Astrea will have a look at Farron, have a look at Gizmo, look at Gizmo and say, I'd appreciate it if you didn't cause a diplomatic incident with our new friend before we even had a chance to rest. In fact, avoid it out altogether if you please.
You seem to like it.
No. She was a her way of getting that sword through to you, and to be fair, had anything happened, she would have been in the right, and I wouldn't have intervened.
Got it.
So I understand you are very enthusiastic about your toys and projects. Maybe keep them for a safe and controlled area.
Gizmo just nods silently, very, very slowly.
How drunk is Gizmo right now?
With power? I'll say, for in the interest of this little narrative, you three are very sober due to the injection of those temporary hit points, that sort of adrenaline or sort of caffeine rush. You are very sober now.
Well, I look forward to the demonstration, but maybe tomorrow then?
Yeah, obviously she told there's gonna be a shooting range. Didn't you listen?
That's the only
Yeah.
information that Gizmo got from
Yeah,
the
I did.
conversation with
I
Lady.
did. Yeah. I don't think Pharaoh knows what a mushroom cloud is, but I think he's imagining one regardless.
Technically, you did see one. I described one when the gunpowder barrel went into the ether.
True. Good times.
Good times.
This is gonna be Gizmo by the end of the campaign, I promise.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Remember, Nader, the folks are not seeing this.
You're gonna have to show the GIF somehow.
Look,
Because that's my end game. It's important to the lore of my character.
you know what? I'll try to do that during at the after show. I'll try to bring try to bring that up. Okay. As Astrea, you're bringing your wayward children back. You find here the music has died down. People have sort of moved away. Let's actually put in a different little mood here. Most of the crew have sort of moved about. Your host druids have been very good at sort of anticipating when people were sort of nodding off and sleeping, and sort of they've set up a couple of cabins on the docks for the crew. You four as the officers do have a cabin prepared for you in the boughs of the tree, along with the other officers from the Asphodel. You've been told how to get there. That's not going to be a problem. But you find yourselves pretty much here. It's almost of it like a skeleton crew, right? The four of you, a few others of the officers. There's maybe sort of slow chanting between a couple of the druids, but most people have gone to sleep. But you see that there's a conversation happening between Almond and Kosmara. And Kosmara is sort of sitting down, and in her lap she has this leather box that Farron had seen previously. And she Almond sort of turns to you as Captain, if you may.
Yes.
Well, if I may, anyway. Yep, that wolf is actually a druid calling to sleep. As I said, Kosmara has... Well, she has a bit of a specific role in our crew. She's a bit of an oracle, in a way. And she's asked if, well, she could maybe... basically, do a reading on you and your crew, if that would be amenable to you.
I would need to inform my crew that there is a possibility and not spring that on them unexpectedly.
Well, not individually.
Okay.
No, this would be just... It's... Well, if you are from what I've heard, you are a new crew. A new ship. And, well... as a gesture of, well, a friendship, I guess, as things have been going well here, maybe see what the cards can say.
Oh. Yeah. Do you need anyone else, or would it just be?
No, just you or those who would look and watch. But this would be for your ship and your crew in general, not for you specifically.
Not personally. I understand. Um. I think that would be best done with the rest of the officers. Are they still awake, and would that be happening now, or is that something that would be planned and made into a ceremony?
You have more. This seems to be more of a spur of a moment kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
And I mean, you have at least 3 of your officers with you, as Farron, Gizmo, and Pax are present. If you want there to be another officer, they can be here as well.
Maybe if Pebblebrook's still around,
I think Pebblebrook is very much around, most likely flirting with one of the druids.
Of course.
Let's see. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. And sort of jumps up. Oh, sort of. Alman sort of picks up and says, yeah, Cosmaro's visions are, I mean, they've been more or less vague, I guess, but they're usually quite on point. I mean, and so there she turns against to Cosmaro. I mean, the latest to come to mind was when you dreamed of that half-orc falling. And again, you have that lilac turning to that sort of purplish blueberry blush. Said, oh, yeah, dreamed of a half-orc falling out to sea. 2 days later, we picked up a young man by the name of Dander. Stayed with us for a while. Sort of, she sort of nods. But you can see that there is maybe that shyness again, and has moved to, and her hands and her attention has moved to now to this deck of cards, which she's removed. Now, in the penumbra of the shade and the embers glowing, it's quite a sight, because she has this sort of dark skin, white hair, these glowing flowers braided into her mane of hair. This contrast of colors and light, and as she brings out the cards themselves, the ink itself seems to have been infused with ether, and they shift and change in hues. I do have a handout.
Do you want to do an actual reading? Because I've got a tarot deck here. If you
We'll be okay. This is actually scripted, so but thank you.
Very nice.
It's a lovely image.
And actually, to be honest, it's better digitally, because you get that bright pop than actually here on the page. So, yeah, she sort of starts, and here you can see that any of the druids that remain have gone silent. Right, this is something that is. You spoke of a ritual to be done. There is no particular ritual, but there is a respect for what is happening here. There is this act is respected in a way where there's a solemn nature to this environment, and she starts shuffling the cards, and she pulls out 3. Well, yeah, here we go. So I'll just read you the text here. Cosmar procures a deck of tarot cards, each shimmering with a strange iridescence. As she closes her eyes, she starts shuffling them, and then places in front of her 3 face down on the nearby bench. Gently, she flips the first card over. The moon, illusions and uncertainty. Before you arrived in the Isle of Drakes, things weren't what they seemed to be, and I'm sorry for that. She flips over the second card. The Fool, new beginnings in naivety. I'm not surprised to see this card. You have much to learn and much to experience in these islands. Finally, maybe with a little bit of hesitation this time, she flips over the last card. Justice. Truth and fairness prevail. Actions will be held accountable, though the card is unsure as to whether those actions are yours or those of people you have yet to meet. The moment lingers just a bit as she doesn't, throughout this, her attention has been entirely on, her world has been entirely just her lap and these cards in front of her. And as she almost blinks out and her world expands to include you, that awkwardness comes back. As she has a awkward little chuckle or giggle or some sort as she feels that awkwardness come, and she takes the cards back in, holds it, puts it back into the box, holds the box against her, and has a look towards the captain, and the Alman just nods. Well, turns to you and says, well, as usual, more questions and answers, I guess. But feels appropriate, at least from what I could tell.
Yes. Thank you, Cosmara.
She nods. Right. Alman goes, well, this kind of confirms my first impressions of you lot. Right. So, all of you get some rest. I'll bring you up to I'll have Tines here bring you to your rooms. We've set you up. And in the morning, we'll discuss chores and what we can do to help you get back onto the waves. In the meantime, welcome to Maladel Island. And on behalf of on behalf of the Blood Lilies, as she offers her hand, here's to getting to know you better, as much as you will get to know yourselves. Holding a hand out.
Thank you. And Astrea will grab it.
And I think that's on that note that we will end the session tonight. Right. Well.
Farron desperately trying to talk to Pax, but every time getting intercepted. That was really funny.
Well, there's always opportunities. On that note, friends, foes, those undeclared, you know the drill if you're just following along for the story. Next episode is upcoming. If you are here to hear our thoughts, well, just give us 30 seconds and we'll be right back. See you then. Hello, folks. Well, that was an episode.
That was yep.
Trauma!
Yes.
Not as much as the other sessions.
No, but it was a bit of an ouch episode still.
Yeah, definitely. Like on the ouch scale, it was at least an 8.5.
Oh, hey, first campaign tiers confirmed. Astrea finally letting... Oh, I felt this highly tensioned piece of rubber just going at that moment was... Mwah, I immediately had tears in my eyes when I heard your actual voice cracking. I felt that in my soul.
Yeah,
Very
and
beautiful
I
scene.
really felt like Astrea needed a moment to just crash.
Yeah, fair enough.
She's been in full survival and crisis mode for the last 3 weeks. Yeah, at some point something's gotta give.
Yeah, she's been full throttle for 2 weeks without peace. And now she got... like, I really like how every single person, every single player's character is dealing with this absence of haste in a different way.
Yeah.
Because in a way, crisis is useful for that, because you always have something to do. You don't really have the time to linger on the need to scream.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where we're gonna start seeing what people really are like.
Yeah.
I mean, we all had these moments where we let our guard down to some extent, even when it was very unreasonable. I mean, Farron got randomly drunk. I have lost count of the number of explosions that Gizmo caused, and Pax, Pax. But yeah, this is the first time that Astrea was kind of like not being team mom and being like, okay, I need a breather.
She had her mom moment, and I think that that going to the side and having a quiet cry is the most mom thing. That
I was about to say, let's keep recognizing mothers everywhere that go into another room to get a 15-second cry and then get back to it.
It's when you realize that adults have feelings too, because you expect her to shout at you, to scold you, and then you see your parents cracking, and you say, "Oh shit." You're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
There's a friend of mine who sent me a video of some comedian saying kind of like, I don't have time for panic attacks to ruin my schedule, so I just schedule them in, and it works better that way. And I was like, this is not as funny as I think this person believes it is.
I mean, that's just OCD right there. I mean, that's it.
Dude, dear DM, I have to say, I absolutely love you for it, but I did not expect it this quick, this now confirmed straight up. Pax is ringing. I think it's a good thing nobody spoke to Pax after Aeson. I had a very thought out way of what he would be like since it didn't happen in this night. It's not going to happen that way. But I think one of my new fighter abilities would have been used on the first person that would go and talk to him.
Oh, yeah. I see exactly what you mean.
You know exactly what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oops.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was half expecting Farron to come and I was like, please don't, poor man.
Yeah. There was a so I was actually counting on another conversation, but I realized I already used Karen that evening. There is a conversation with Karen that is going to be coming up, but in a way, I think it's, without going into too much detail, the conversation with Karen is going to be needed. It's better in this order, right? But yeah, I don't know if it was quick. I know we had basically just discussed that this afternoon.
I love it. Like, genuinely, like, we discussed this, you got the information, then you got a whole piece that you were free to decide. Like, me, the player, had not cemented in stone that it was his captain pointing a gun at him.
Yeah.
So this is new to me, newly confirmed. But it actually blindsided me in the best way. I was like, oh yeah, sure. In like 4 or 5 sessions, it might come up. And it's like,
then-
no. Your captain was aiming at you, Pax. Why was that?
And the fact that it was that information that pushed the
Mutineers.
the mutineers, it justified the mutineers. They're going, why are we rebelling? Why are we mutinying? We have our first mate who's there, right? We have the captain's trusted person. And then this other guy was going, yeah, but I saw the captain try to shoot him. And that was enough to trigger the ambition of, well,
Davros,
yeah.
brilliant.
Go for it.
Loved this entire scene, including the introduction of the halfling and then Gizmo's best rivalry.
The food eating contest.
That's gonna be a fun one to
Yeah.
play out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have an image in my mind of a big feast with a kobold getting fed like a baby bird.
Yeah,
Just food being shoveled in there.
I saw the memes on the Discord. I did promise this to Gizmo and to the others, so I will to all of you. So this is what Gizmo shared with us as Gizmo's ambitions.
Including the armor. I want to be very clear on.
What? No.
Nobody expects the Gizmo Inquisition.
What a world it would be.
Yeah, the Spanish Gizmo doesn't have the same ring to it.
I think it would be a bang.
Oh.
Quite literally.
God.
As for the armor, my friend, if you we did decide for artillerist. If you want to take armor, that is, but yeah.
Can I multi-class into the same subclass?
You know what? No. And there are reasons for that.
Come on, but I wanted to be an evocation divination wizard.
Is that too much to ask?
Oh,
I mean,
evocation divination. What terrifying creature are you?
Exactly.
In a home game a while back, we had this thing where the players could switch out part of their classes and can like become hybrids at a cost.
Oh my
And a trickster cleric gave away their cloak of shadows and gained portent instead.
You know, I would place that DM in the same category of the DMs that give the deck of many things to their players. As in, they are DMs that are going, you know what? I don't care anymore. You know what?
I've given the deck of daddy. Well, it was technically the deck of daddy things that I gave to my players for Curse of Strahd. Guys, it's nothing wrong with it. It is the deck of many things. It's just from Dungeons and Daddies with a few extra cards.
Yeah, okay.
They are. Wait, hang on. I need to defend my honor here.
Hi everyone, welcome to GenericGM's YouTube channel.
This is where the actual session starts, right? Okay, cool.
Hashtag not that kind of session.
It just has daddy cards like Ask Your Mother, Birkensocks, Dad Bod, and Don Juan, Gambat, Grillmaster, and so on and so forth. We can talk about this later.
Yeah, I think we could. I mean, it's the right spot to talk about them, but still. I mean, if you want to enter the deck of many things, I actually do have the animated, cards for them. But to be frank and honest, I care too much about my players to give them that option.
Are you insinuating I didn't care about my players?
I'm saying you gave up on them.
It was in the beginning of the campaign, so... Listen, Curse of Strahd, certain Vistani show up, they investigated a little bit too deeply, and they got the magical end of the stick.
Yeah, don't...
They didn't get fucked over too badly.
I mean, it is very Vistani to not, I am not going to punish you, my child. I'm going to give you the tools to punish yourself.
That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, good.
So,
Makes sense.
that campaign that I mentioned earlier, as luck would have it, the same phenomena that had kind of like the weird class mixtures, there was essentially a roulette table, and they had to roll a d20, and depending on what kind of score they had, pure luck roll, they would have prizes or they would have penalties.
Wow.
And said trickster cleric pulled the short deck of many things.
Oh, no.
And proceeded to pull the sun. Twice.
Wait.
What does that do again?
Well, she pulled the sun, and then she convinced the barbarian to pull one, and who pulled the sun again.
The sun is you gain 50,000 XP and a random wondrous item.
Jeez. Yeah, which is, I think, is level 20.
That is level 20, yeah. You become level 20 and you get a random wondrous item.
What the fuck?
I mean, I do think if you want to introduce the deck of many things in an actual campaign or in an adventure module or things like that, you need as a DM to be ready to be flexible about certain cards and
100%.
maybe to change results. Because what happened to me was one of my players technically got put into a little bead, transported to another plane of existence, and was gone. Basically, what happened to Grog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was about to say.
And, I couldn't do that because my campaign would be over. So I just decided that one of the characters of the campaign to save... Well, actually, there's so many actual plays of Curse of Strahd right now. I just used the Mad Mage that doesn't really feature in the story unless you go find him. To have caught a sliver of magic trying to get out and just went, oh, mine!
That's actually a very clever trick. Yeah, I like that. That's very, very clever.
And the character was then still in the world, could be communicated with, and they could get her out, within reason. It was just tricky for level 4s at the time to face the Mad Mage on the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got in, grabbed the bead, got out.
Yeah. Which is pretty much how you run Curse of Strahd. Is that you get in,
You get in, you grab your stuff, you get out.
I still
mean-
want to properly run Strat at some point.
By the end of the campaign, the whole castle Ravenloft is pretty much just like a spelunking adventure at that point. Everyone's just like grabbing their gear, going like, yeah, okay, so we've done the second floor last time. Zzz, let's start with the third floor now.
Our run was a bit different. We had the opportunity. I was my warlock. I with the stats and basically I had started. I think level 3. I had something along 22 passive perception. And archaeologist. I mean, I pretty much made it. Yeah, this guy is made for Castle Ravenloft, and there is a point in the game where you, if you're lucky enough and you go where you need to go, you actually can see the model of the castle. And the GM basically said, "Okay, you examine it." I'm going, "Okay, I'll roll I rolled a natural 20 on my investigation." So basically, the GM gave us the maps, the actual room maps of the first 3 levels. So anything above ground. We still got lost.
Yeah.
Because we're going, wait, and I'm juggling through these, going, okay, so if we go into this room, that brings us down here, but that goes up there, and that Anyways, Castle Ravenloft is a very, very interesting dungeon to play in.
It has a little bit of that. If you've seen it, and if it is in your general knowledge, the madhouse from Asterix and Obelix,
Yes.
up the stairs and down the stairs and up the stairs and down the stairs vibes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if I would run, I've had, because all of us here at GMs have our own ideas of how to run Curse of Strahd, unless right. I'm pretty sure that the day I run Curse of Strahd, it's going to be, I'm going to flavor it to be a Humblewood.
Oh, nice. That is actually really
Must be
cute.
so cute.
I just need to, but I cannot use any of the art. Right? But, you know.
Why are we still playing pirates? Just what are we doing here?
I mean,
No,
And so the big
nothing-
question that I had with my GM was, okay, if we're playing Humblewood, so all sort of anthropomorphic animals, what animal is Strahd? And so we were going backwards and forwards as to, should it be a wolf, should it be a bat, should it be, and we came to the same conclusion towards the end, that we were going to Christmas Carol this thing, and have Strahd be the only one who does not change, and he's the only humanoid among all of these animals.
huh. Interesting.
So yeah, we would Michael Caine Strahd.
I can see it. But God, but what animal was Irina?
We didn't get that far. We didn't get that far. But yeah, but it would be. Irina? No, Fox.
Yeah, Irina would have been a red fox.
Yeah, red
That's
fox.
what
Going
I'm thinking.
Full Robin Hood rules, right?
Brad von Zarovich, very confirmed. What?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been called worse things on the internet. Like he's the incel overlord of Barovia.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, listen, it tells you everything that my party was called the Daddy Slayers. Yes, you as a DM know my pain right now. So from your facial expression, I feel seen. I had to run a dark and gloomy gothic campaign for the Daddy Slayers. I love them. They are amazing. I know some of them are watching. You're awesome. You're great. Never stop.
Announce yourselves, please, below. We want to know if we have the support of the Vladdy Slayers.
Yes, please. Wait, it is fun though, because that instantly shifts the campaign from, Dracula to what we do in the shadows,
And they were sassy, my man. They were sassy. They did not care for the gloom very much and the dark monologues of gothic theatrical villains.
I mean, it's a very short hop and a skip for going from Coppola's Dracula to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Absolutely.
Like, it's a hop to the right and a step to the left.
And a step to the left.
Or is it a hop to the left and a step to the right? I keep forgetting.
It's just a jump to the left.
Jump
and
to
then
the
a step
left
and step to the right.
Yes.
I think to this day, one of my favorite things, because I just didn't see it coming from the original What We Do in the Shadows film, was the justification for the sandwich story, if you guys know it. They're trying to explain why vampires eat virgins, and one of them says, "Children, stuff your ears." They say, "Well, let me put it this way." I'm paraphrasing. If you had a sandwich, you would just enjoy it more if you knew no one had fucked it.
I can hear him say it.
What?
I think we all know who we're talking about.
Exactly who said that, in what way, in what tone.
I would like to say, anyone who's watching who's not a fan of What We Do in the Shadows, you're wrong. I mean, sorry. We'll get back on track at one point.
Look,
I was going to say.
my players, I have heard you. I have understood you. We will be running at some point something to do with vampires, and we will be goth and gloomy. I mean, Vampire the Masquerade doesn't have the monopoly on sad goth vibes. We'll find something.
You do know, thanks to Sandman, how I feel about emo sad boys main characters.
Yeah.
I think Brandon is trying to say something.
He's trying to communicate with
I think he's trying to communicate.
Of course, being in this arpocule where we basically just see your face, we have no idea what you were actually pointing to. But
I can actually make that happen if you want.
let's
Don't threaten us with a good time.
Oh my god. Oh, that's ominous.
What I was going to say before all that,
Yeah.
relating to Strahd and other gloomy gothic campaigns, is usually you end up doing the jump to the left and the skip to the right in matters of tone, because it is almost impossible to do a whole campaign staying absolutely and only gloomy and dark and sad. And at some point you have to have some levity. And that's where the comedic.
That's why we have a gizmo.
Yeah, and I'd also like to say we've all lived on this planet long enough and have experienced things that have made us sad and angry for longer durations of times, and I don't think it has fully halted us in the capacity of laughing at something that truly brings you joy. Yeah. Thank God, indeed.
Yeah.
But yeah. So to come back on track for just quickly. Thoughts about Maladel Island? Or at least for the Blood Lilies?
Love it. I'm obsessed with the Blood Lilies. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I want them to be my friends.
Yeah.
I really want them to be my friends.
Yeah, let's say friends. Sure.
It's an anarcho-communist druid commune. Kind of.
Yeah. Can I live there? Pax is parked. He retires on Maladel Island.
I would actually say I would actually go against what you just said there, Andreas. As in, no, they are a pirate crew, which means that there is, okay, granted, when they're on land, they do their they do their own thing, but it's a well organized crew. There is a first mate, there is a bosun, there's actually let me just check. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. So Almond as the captain, Hazel being the first mate, Koya, who's the
dryad.
The dryad. She is, or I guess a gender, but they're the helmsman. Oscar the Osprey is the navigator and scout.
Makes sense.
And
Makes
you've
sense.
met Tiberius, who
Bear.
the bear, and then Cosmara, who doesn't, as it's mentioned, she does not serve any special roles on the ship. Her powers of divination, channeled through a back deck of ether soaked tarot cards, have saved the Asphodel many times. So,
Potent divination wizard, maybe.
well, druid. No, she is a druid.
True.
She just happens to be.
Yep.
So it's an oops, all druids.
No.
Crew,
This is specific. No. If I haven't made clear enough, the Blood Lilies are an all druid crew.
Yeah. That was clear.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, because some of the art had some of the people kind of like wielding swords and kind of like looking more martial, and so I thought that they had kind of like essentially division of labor with a significant portion for druids, but also with some martial characters as well.
No. Hazel is very much a druid. It just so happens that she. It's one of those things where, in the old, so if druids have access to martial weapons, some of them at
True.
least, and strangely enough, druids don't have access to martial weapons except scimitars.
Okay.
Because I think there's something I think it was in second edition. Corellian's weapon of choice is the elven god of nature.
Yeah.
His chosen weapon is
Corellon.
a scimitar, and therefore the druids are allowed. Because druids back in the day were just clerics with nature powers.
No,
And the scimitars were the only metal weapons they could use as well. Otherwise, they were restricted to clubs and other sticks.
Yeah.
And,
That's something that
Shillelagh.
I think I remember.
Yeah.
I think it was. I forget if it was Jeremy or. We basically mentioned that there's a taboo of using metal with the druids, but that doesn't mean that they're, that it's banned, specifically. But I guess why do you need a hammer and nails when you can just ask the wood to just.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
What I really like about the Blood Lilies is that they are a very nice representation of the libertarianism between pirates.
Actually, yeah, absolutely.
And the actual open spirit that pirates have, because they're not, we don't have to pay taxes and colonize and this and that and have labor and no. No, we do our thing. And if you don't want to interfere and you kind of want to help and get something in return, cool. Awesome.
I'm not. The Blood Lilies have their vibe. And I think I've made that clear through Hazel talking to Farron. That's their vibe. It's not necessarily going to be the same vibe anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I get that's very unique to them. I also feel that it's a power move from them.
How so?
Being
The
able
way-
to. Yeah.
Yeah, being able to be so welcoming and hospitable as part of the archipelago of the Drake Isles, which everybody goes like, yeah, not going to go there because I'm going to sink. And be able to say, yeah, no, we don't have issues with any of the other drakes because none of them want us gone because we feed them. Being able to say that anybody that can do 1+1 goes, well, I'm not pissing them off because I'll have the whole Drake Isles on my ass within seconds.
Yeah.
Like, they are really just being
If
like,
if
you'll
you
be able to
ever-
stab me, but that's the last thing you'll ever do.
Yeah, and that is considering that they have a whole commune of droids on the island that are perfectly able to rip you to shreds before needing any outside intervention.
Yeah, a lot of animals on that. Not a single one is hunted.
Oh boy.
Looking forward to more. There are some nice juicy interactions waiting to happen as well.
It is fun though, because last session, a lot of us in the player chat were very paranoid about kind of like the blood lilies, because we were like, okay, on a scale from the Wicker Man to Midsommar, what kind of screwed are we here? You know?
Yeah.
And then it ends up like, oh no, it actually makes sense that this would be a semi-safe base and that they would be genuinely as welcoming. But then I realized that the paranoia that I was having as a player at least was useful in informing kind of like the decisions and the choices of Farron in this case, because he still has that fallback of how am I getting screwed here? What's the right play here? And then realizing that, hey, we're not at a game right now. It's okay. You can put your tricks away. That's also a space that he doesn't necessarily feel comfortable in. So that was also fun to kind of like get him there.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the, as a GM, it's always a bit difficult to. I think I alluded to this during the last after show where we used to have another game where players arrive into idyllic islands and that kind of thing, and immediately going, okay, we're the cannibals. Right? It's I mean, to the point. I think it's one of the Monkey Islands where you get the opposite, where you join Cannibal Island and you realize that they've all gone vegetarian. Because they realized that their volcano was intolerant and needed more fiber. There's a whole thing. A volcano being lactose intolerant is one of the pivoting points of one of the games. So, yeah, it's I was very funny going, but I will say this, which is, you had that healthy amount of suspicion, and I like the fact Farron went up to Hazel and says, "Okay, so what's your vibe?" And the vibe said, "Look, we're going to give off the same vibe that you give off. If you're happy and you know it, we'll clap hands. If you decide to fuck things up, we'll fuck you harder."
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally, Safo.
Just the idea that no, I really like the Blood Lilies. There's a couple of other crews that you're going to meet across the seas, of course, different vibes. But here, yeah, you're going to there's still some things to discover here on Maladil Island. So I can't wait to have you guys sort of go in and explore.
Yeah.
So,
And get more emotional damage.
See, like, before we started recording, like, Panda, you were saying, hey, so I did this backstory of, like, about some of the stuff that happened in the past between and his captain. And I was like, hey, you know what? I want to be able to read that after it gets revealed, like, way down the line. And now that might have jumped up the queue a little bit. just a smidge. Oh, man.
hey, if we ever decide to produce a Patreon, we'll be putting that text as behind the paywall. There we go.
In the comments.
Yeah, if in the comments, if you guys are interested in helping us out, and you feel that you have enough disposable funds to help this little show out, let us know, and we might just give you the opportunity. So,
Can I just do this? You'll have to forgive me.
Go
Can
ahead.
I just do this? Get in the comments!
God. There's a V1 of Farron's backstory that I wrote way back when, and where our dear DM very gently but very firmly just said, no. Like, basically, we have to tone this down ever so slightly, because however fucked up you think it is, it was worse. But
yeah,
hey,
I mean, to be fully honest, and this is something that I just read. Refuse outright any character created before session 0. For multiple reasons, we won't get into that here. But Farron was a completely created character before he knew anything about the setting, including, what was it, three full pages of backstory?
I think 4.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going, okay, no, no, that's no. And in the end, I said no so much. Andreas just said, "Oh, you know what? Let's make him just an amnesiac." I'm going, "Oh, come on." No, I'm joking.
There is the part where creating a character fully fledged before having an idea of the setting and what type of world you're playing in is always a bit difficult afterwards. To be fair,
I mean, we had I think at the we had an understanding, I think, of the world. I think you gave us an outline of the 3 major factions. You told us, we knew that it was going to be pirates. We knew kind of like that we were going for something between maybe Black Sails and Pirates of the Caribbean, with kind of like a little bit of something else sprinkled into it. But it is true that the idea for Farron is much older than this campaign. Like, sometimes I work with character playlists, and there's this one song that I heard, and it's not going to make sense maybe for most viewers. If you find it, look up Yael Naïm's cover of Full Sentimental by Alain Souchon.
Okay.
And it is just this absolutely haunting cover of a song that is already pretty depressing in the first place, if you listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then I had this, and then I started having these ideas, which went places. Anyway, Farron is totally fine. What are you talking about?
Hey. Anyhow, all of you will be getting a long rest, so if you wish to do so, you can hit that button. And we'll get into that, into exploring the island next time.
yay!
Sweet.
Nice.
What I always find
Looking
fun.
forward to it.
And I realize that I'm getting so used to your DMing style that it becomes my default. Is I'm way too cuddled and coddled in the way of getting to discuss my background with the DM at any point I want and I need. So usually my background starts off as, I want to play that character, so how could it get into that world? Okay, like that. And then, but where does she come from? Where does their power come from? And then I have a whole discussion with the DM, and then I realize, oh wait, that would be fun, and that's a good idea, and so I never have a written backstory before the 3rd session at least.
Look, to be fully honest, when people ask me how much time do you spend in preparation before a game, I just answer. My answer is usually yes. As in, there is no moment where if I'm going to get a sandwich, I'm thinking about characters.
After the
Like,
game is
it
before the game.
never stops, right? Essentially, it never stops because you're preparing your game. You have your story. You're halfway through your goddamn campaign, and you go, "Yeah, I'm adding 20 episodes to this. I have an idea."
Yeah, I mean, literally, we talked about it. We had an hour-long conversation about Grasha, and now I have a full...
Try to.
Try to, yeah. And all of a sudden now I have enough material in my mind to actually start a full campaign around her.
Oops, accidental BBEG.
So
I tried very, very hard not to eavesdrop on a lot of that conversation.
Hey, he was right there. Honestly, Pax was stunned. If there was ever a time to have overheard certain sensitive things about him, it was then.
I mean, the timeout, the out of game.
This morning. Right, yeah.
Okay. Guys, before we turn this after show into a full-fledged podcast, I am going to release you from your cameras. Once again, thank you all for the game. Thank you for this campaign. Thank you for your energy. For those watching, we hope that we have entertained you thus far. Yeah, let us know. And who knows? If you, like us, you have two missions. If you want to pay us, comment. If you want to hear more of us, as in if you want to hear our discussions on a longer format like this, as in maybe start, a 4 GMs by 4 GMs, 5 GMs. We need to get M onto the GM board. 5 GMs, 4 GMs. That's good. Yeah, that's there. Let us know, and I'm sure we've got plenty of things to talk about. So, but until then, stay safe. Have a drink of water, and breathe. I think that's all we can hope for all of you. So, to friends, foes, and those undeclared, good night, and we'll see you soon.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.